And so this is the method that I use, that pretty much everybody who's in the personal development world has used, because that's the only tool we were ever given. And so that was me all those years ago. And that's one of the reasons that I decided to commit suicide, because I've been writing these affirmations. I was reading all the books. I was doing exactly what they said, and yet I was getting nothing. I'm here, writing these affirmations. I'm successful. I'm rich. I'm happy.
Welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from four-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. As always, I have an incredible guest with us today. And I know I always say that, but it's because it's always true. And today I want to ask you for a favor. I want to ask you that if you get something out of this interview, if you get some type of value, some type of new insight, a skill, the belief, the guts, the inspiration to go out and take action to keep on moving forward towards your goals, I want to ask you to please share this episode with 10 friends. Share the link on social media, send it to friends on message, on Messenger, post it on stories, share it with 10 people, since this is how we grow. This is how we're able to share our message, to motivate, inspire, and bless other men out there to get to have it all and have success, happiness, and fulfillment, and level up in every single area of their life. And today I have Dr. Noah John. What's the ST stand for? I'm not sure, man.
It's Dr. Noah St. John. That's how you say it. Noah St. John.
Dr. Noah St. John, and he's known as the father of Affirmations and the mental health coach to stars, working with Hollywood celebrities, 8-figure company CEOs, professional athletes, top executives, and entrepreneurs. Noah is famous for helping his coaching clients make more in just 12 weeks than they make in the previous 12 months. And Noah has also appeared on over 1,000 media outlets, including ABC, NBC, CNBC, Fox, Entrepreneur, and Success Magazine, which is, very, very cool. And you can get Noah's book, which is called Millionaire Affirmations, to get to learn all about affirmations, which is quite like there's a big difference. Affirmations, there's a big difference between affirmations. So you can, if you want to learn about that, you can get that book at getmillionairebook.com. And you're welcome, Noah. Thank you very much for being here, man. I really appreciate it. And you're welcome. Yeah.
Well, it's great to be here with you, Alex. And I'm very excited and looking forward to today's program.
Awesome. So the first thing that I do with my guests, Noah, is I tell them to walk us through their entrepreneurial journey in 75 seconds or less.
Whoa, 75 seconds or less. Boy, usually that story usually takes about 3 or 4 minutes. So I don't know, I'll be able to do that in 75 seconds. But I'll give you the shorter version then. I grew up poor in a rich neighborhood. I hated being poor. I saw that there was a big difference between the haves and the have-nots. The haves was everyone else in the community. The have-nots was my family. And so I determined to do whatever it took to become a have. But it took me a very, very long time because I was listening to all the gurus out there and following all their advice. And it really just took me in a really bad direction. And at the age of 25, I decided to commit suicide because I was so depressed and frustrated. At the very last moment, my life was spared, but I didn't know why I was still here on the earth. So I went on a long journey to discover my purpose. And in 1997, I finally did that. I had 2 epiphanies that really changed my life when I realized what was missing in traditional success literature, what all the gurus were not telling us. And that is how I have written all of these books, now 17 books in 18 languages. And as you mentioned, my new book, which was just published recently, is called Millionaire Affirmations, the magic formula that will make you rich. And as you mentioned, we have lots of cool bonuses for your listeners at getmillionairebook.com. So that is the short version of my journey.
Nice. Well, what a journey, right? What a journey, man. So let's see. I'm tempted to ask, all right, so what was that missing link that allowed you to, write all the books, accomplish everything that you've accomplished? But before I ask that, okay, let me just go back, right? And talk about this bad direction that you went on because, well, you went on by listening to all like gurus, right? Like all the bad pieces of information and advice. So tell me about that. Like, what was it like? What guru? No, not what gurus. I don't want you to like name names or anything like that. It doesn't really matter, right? But like, what advice or what happened that led you in this like bad path?
Well, I don't want to say bad. It just, for me, it didn't work, So I don't, for some other people, I'm sure it probably worked, but for me, it didn't work at all. One of the pieces of information or one of the techniques that the gurus teach is this whole subject or topic of affirmations, right? We've heard this a million times, right? Every guru on the planet tells you to use affirmations. So what is an affirmation, right? An affirmation, if you've ever read a self-help book, you know that an affirmation is a statement of something that you want to be true. So for example, you mentioned that I'm known as the father of affirmations and the mental health coach to the stars. I'm also, a keynote speaker and an author and an executive coach, a business consultant. And so as a keynote speaker, whether I'm speaking to private workshops of 100 people or large audiences, whether it's virtual or live of 5 or 10,000 people, one of the things that I like to do with my audiences is I like to say, all right, everybody, we're going to do a traditional affirmation just like they taught us. And I want you to all to say, I am rich. And everybody says, I am rich. And you know what happens next? Everyone starts laughing. And I go, what are you laughing at? And they say, well, I'm not rich. And then I say, well, but you just said you were. And they go, yeah, but I don't believe it. See, isn't that interesting? Isn't that the problem with the old way, the old affirmations method, is we say these positive statements, but for most of us, we just don't believe it. In fact, a University of Waterloo study showed conclusively that 75% of the people that use affirmations the old way actually end up more frustrated than before. So in other words, for 75% of the people that use that old method, it doesn't really work. So imagine if you had a phone that didn't work 75% of the time. Would you keep using that phone, or would you trade it in for something that worked all the time? Right. And so that's what's fascinating about my discovery of affirmations. Again, the affirmations, which is spelled like this, AFFORMATIONS, affirmations, not affirmations. So what's fascinating about that, my discovery, is that it works with the embedded presupposition factor of the brain. And that's why it is a methodology that actually works every single time. The reason is because you're already doing it.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about why affirmations do not work. Right. So like what I'm thinking right now is I actually stopped doing affirmations a long time ago. I don't know why, but I used to do them a lot, but now not anymore for some reason. I guess I didn't like see the benefit in them and I didn't find value, so I just stopped doing it.
Right.
But yeah, like you're going through your affirmations and you're saying all of these things, and sometimes it makes you feel like you're shitting yourself.
That's right.
Right? Like you're lying to yourself. And then one of the things that I've learned with integrity, right? Like I have many coaches, and they talk about integrity, and they say that the way you gain confidence is by having integrity, by keeping your word to yourself, by doing what you say you're going to do, right? That's how you gain confidence, because all of a sudden you say you're going to do something, right? Your subconscious mind hears it, and then you actually do it, and your subconscious mind is like, okay, he actually did it. And you get more confident, right? And you do that obviously by stacking those wins. But then if you say something and then you don't do it, then you're a liar, right? And your mind doesn't know the difference between like a joke and something like that's a fact, right? So all of a sudden you're a liar, which is like, it makes you feel guilty, shame, it's low vibration energy, and you attract more of the same. And why would a liar be successful, right? What is your take on like why, like what, tell us a little bit more about why affirmations do not work, Noah.
Well, an affirmation, let's look at what an affirmation, the old way, let's look at what it actually is. All right.
Okay.
So what it is the affirmation method, which is all we have been taught. Remember, we've only been taught this one method for decades. I mean, literally, basically a century and a half is what the old method represents. And so we've only had this one tool. So one of the things that I teach my coaching clients, and as you mentioned, yes, I am known for helping my clients make more in just 12 weeks than they made in the last 12 months. So literally compressing time while making more money and also winning their life back. So one of the things that I talk with my clients about is when you are trying to build your business, build your career, build a life, really, build your successful, happy, fulfilled life. It's kind of like building a house, right? There are a lot of parts to it. There's a lot of things that have to be integrated, right? And so imagine if you were trying to build a house and you only had one tool, right? Imagine if you were trying to build a house and all you had was a screwdriver.
Okay.
Like, wow, this is going to be really hard, right? Well, maybe you can try to, hammer a nail in using the other end of the screwdriver. It's not very easy to saw something, but you get the idea. The point is that it is one tool that for some people worked. About 25% of the people, the old way did work, but for the majority of us, 75%, it didn't work at all. So an affirmation is a statement of something that you wish were true, that you want to be true, that you're hoping someday is true. And so this is the method that I use, that pretty much everybody who's in the personal development world has used, because that's the only tool we were ever given. And so that was me all those years ago. And that's one of the reasons that I decided to commit suicide, because I've been writing these affirmations. I was reading all the books. I was doing exactly what they said, and yet I was getting nothing. I'm here, writing these affirmations. I'm successful. I'm rich. I'm happy. The reality was, no, I'm not. I'm broke, unhappy, and miserable. So yes, I was lying to myself. But the irony of that is that's what they tell you to do. They literally tell you to lie to yourself. And I'm going, this sucks. This is so dumb. Why? How can this be the only method that you're supposed to do to change your life? And it's called lying to yourself. So that never sat right with me. And so when I discovered Affirmations, my Affirmations method in 1997, that was the epiphany. It was in the shower one morning. It was April 1997. I was in the shower. You ever get those aha moments in the shower? We've all had those, right?
Yeah.
And this is in my books and in my programs and in my coaching, I call it the shower that changed everything, because that's really what it was. It was the shower that changed everything for me. And now, since I've been teaching this for 25 years now, for over 1 million people all around the world.
Awesome. So what is the difference between affirmations and affirmations? Like, what would be like one major distinction?
Yes, absolutely. So an affirmation, as I just said, is a statement of something that you want to be true. So it's a statement, right? So the classic example is, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me, right? And we are supposed to say these statements over and over again. And then eventually it's supposed to change your beliefs, right? Now, think about this. For everybody listening to this program, think about what it is that you want in your life, right? Because what we're really talking about here, if you pull back the camera a little bit and go to the 30,000-foot view, what are we really talking about? Well, we're really talking about reaching our goals, aren't we? I mean, that's what we're really talking about. We're saying, I want to achieve this, right? And what I call that when I work with my coaching clients is I call that reaching your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? So what is your pot of gold? Well, for some people, it's they want to make more money. For some, it's they want to start or grow or scale their business. For some, they want to sell their business. For some, they want to lose weight. For some, they want to find love. They want to start a family. Whatever your goal is, that's your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So the purpose of the old belief change method called affirmations, the old method, was to change the statements that we say. So in other words, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't think I can do that. I don't know if I can reach that goal. Then the old way is say, well, I can do it. I can do it. I'm rich. I'm happy. I'm good enough. But inside you're thinking, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Right? Because what you're saying actually has a discrepancy between the reality. Mm-hmm. So what I discovered 25 years ago in the shower that changed everything was this. I said, well, what are we actually talking about here? We're talking about changing our beliefs, because if you want to reach your goals, right? Because that's what we're really talking about, is reaching your goals. If you want to reach your goals, there's no question that you need to change your beliefs in order to reach your goals, because the life that you've created right now is a function of the beliefs that you have up until now, right? And I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
And so the point is that, okay, so what we're actually talking about is changing beliefs. Okay. So then I said, well, what is a belief? What actually is a belief? And then I said, well, a belief is just a thought. That's all a belief is, right? So if I believe, for example, I'm not enough, that's a thought. If I have a belief that says I am enough, that's a thought. I can have a belief that says I'll never lose weight, or I've tried everything to, get in shape and I can't do it, or I can't make the money that I want to make, or again, all these negative beliefs that we have, right? All of those are just beliefs, but what's a belief? A belief is a thought. And then I said, well, what is thought? What is human thought? And then I realized, when you actually break it down, human thought is actually the process of asking and searching for answers to questions, not statements, but questions. In fact, I can prove it to you. I can prove it to you, and I can prove it to everyone watching this program and listening to my voice. All right, so this is one of the things that I like to do at my live or virtual events. For example, I have a virtual event, a 3-day virtual event called 7-Figure Mind Intensive, where I literally teach people how I help people make more in 12 weeks than they made in the previous 12 months. So it's called the 7-Figure Mind Intensive. Mm-hmm. But so one of the things that I like to do is, at those events or my keynote speeches, is I say, all right, we're going to play a little game here. All right, and I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to tell me what happens. All right. So Alex, if you'll play along with me, all right, ask you a question. Why is the sky blue? Why is the sky blue?
Because the water is blue and it's just a reflection of the water.
Okay. So here's what just happened in your brain. In that moment, what happened? I asked you a question, and what instantly happened in your brain?
A thought, and I gave you an answer.
You searched for the answer to the question.
Yeah.
Now notice you couldn't help what you just did. You did it automatically without any conscious thought, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Isn't that fascinating? In fact, that is what psychologists call the embedded presupposition factor of the brain. All that means is when you ask a question, your brain actually searches for the answer, and it happens automatically without your conscious volition. In fact, our brain, the human brain, is a lot like Google, right? How many times a day do we typically do Google searches, right? Or maybe you're on YouTube, which of course is owned by Google. So you're still doing a Google search.
Or ask,
right? We do that probably.
Why am I so stupid? And then you get an answer, right?
That's right, right? You're getting ahead of me, but that's exactly right. And so the human brain is like Google, right? When you're entering something on Google, what are you actually doing? You're asking a question, right? So you're basically saying, how to bake a cake, how to tie a tie, how to make money online, how to lose weight, how to find love, how to get a date on Friday night. Whatever you're doing, you're asking a question, right? I mean, even if you're searching for something, show me all of the Chinese restaurants in Phoenix, Arizona. That's a question. All right. So basically everything that you're doing is essentially asking a question. Now, what's fascinating about that is, believe it or not, your brain, my brain, the human brain is more powerful than Google. And why is that? It's because Google can't change its questions. When you type something into Google or when you use it on your phone and you're asking Google a question, it can't say, well, I don't feel like answering that. I'm going to answer a different question. But we humans have the power to change our questions.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. Real quick, do you want to know how I've been using my podcast to build a multi-million-dollar network with over 100 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, reach hundreds of my ideal clients with my message, coaching, service, and podcast, get invited to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months alone, through my own events, and have over 100 successful entrepreneurs being willing to speak at my events, become a millionaire in 1 year, get mentored by multimillionaires, and achieve goals that I thought were going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year, and ultimately get unstuck and make quantum leaps of progress in my business and life with less than 1 hour of work just by being myself. If you answered yes to any of those, I just want to invite you to a free training showing you how I've been able to build a multi-million-dollar network that is helping me achieve bigger income goals faster with only 1 hour of speaking and just being myself. To be honest, I thought I was going to be a multi-millionaire, speak on stages, throw my own events, and live a successful, happy, and fulfilled life of growth and impact in 10 years from now. That seemed so far away, but my podcast has been able to help me do that in less than 6 months. I'm actually doing all of that this year at the age of 21 with my podcast. I'm reaching thousands of people with my message, my service, my podcast, my coaching. I've gotten booked to speak on 4 stages in the last 2 months. And on these stages, I'm going to be getting in front of hundreds of my ideal clients, making roughly around 15 to 30K plus per event. Not only that, I have a network of over 100 high-level, multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs who have all agreed to speak at my events. Getting clients is a problem of the past. I've gotten the opportunities to learn from billionaires, and I'm collapsing decades of time, and I'm literally achieving what I thought was going to take me 10 years to achieve in 1 year. All of this because I use podcasting as a networking tool, and I leveraged a rare concept called the cloak track. And I want the exact same thing for you. Just imagine where you could be in 1 year from now if you get this free training right now. That is why I'm inviting you to this training. On this short training, you're going to learn how a small group of purpose-driven entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, course creators, and speakers have combined podcasting with this rare concept called the cloak track to build a multi-million-dollar network, reach thousands of their ideal clients with their message, books, courses, coaching, make an extra $118,800, get booked on 10 stages, and build a successful network of entrepreneurs who speak on their stage, all of this in under 6 months. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps to make this work. Step number 1, alignment. Getting clear on who you want to be, what you want to do, your goals, your purpose, and aligning all of this with building your podcast and your ideal podcast guest. Step number 2, leveraging the cloak track to find your ideal podcast guest and never running out of them. Step number 3, leveraging the cloak track to close an interview with anyone, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem. And step number 4, the content machine. The content machine is the key to tapping into other people's audiences. And I'm going to show you all of those 4 steps. The link to access this free training is in the description of this video. Click on it and go watch this training right now so that you can learn how you can too build a multi-million-dollar network that helps you achieve bigger goals faster and with less effort. Note, this training is only available to 18 people, so act right now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this episode. Bye-bye.
Google does not. So we are actually more powerful than Google because we have the choice. So going back to the shower that changed everything, right? So I was in the shower and I said, what is belief? A belief is a thought. What is thought? The process of asking and searching for answers to questions. So I said, if that's true, then why are we going around making statements that we don't believe? Why don't we just cut out the middleman and go right to the question? And then I said, well, what would that look like? All right, so let's break it down. So you got the statement or affirmation, the old way, the old tool, right? Which is all we've been taught for over a century. And the statement is something like, I am rich. And your brain says, yeah, right. We do not believe it. And we're saying, well, you're lying. So if that's the statement that we don't believe, well, then what would the question be? And that's when I came up with the thought, why am I so rich? Why am I so rich? Now, when you ask that question, what immediately happens in your brain?
I come up with reasons why I'm rich.
Bingo. And now, so what I'm teaching and what, what I do with my clients, what I teach my clients, one of the reasons that I help people make more in 12 weeks than they made in the last 12 months is that we're using the law of sowing and reaping. As you sow, so shall you reap. This has been taught for centuries. However, what are we sowing? We're sowing seeds of thought. And yet, what are most people doing? Sowing lousy thought seeds. Why am I so stupid? Why am I so fat? Why can't I lose weight? Why isn't my business growing? Why can't I make more money? Why is there more month left at the end of the money? Right? And when you ask lousy questions, what do you get? Lousy answers, right? Yeah. And that creates a lousy life. Yeah. So I said, wait a second. What if instead of asking lousy questions that lead to lousy answers, create a lousy life? What if we just flip the whole thing on its head, start asking empowering questions that lead to phenomenal answers and create a wonderful life? And as I was standing there in the shower, April 1997, more than 25 years ago, I said, holy cow, I just invented something. And so I had to give it a name. And the name that I gave it was Affirmations. And you can go, as I mentioned, to affirmations.com. And also for the new book, getmillionairebook.com, which is my new book, Millionaire Affirmations. But it's affirmations.com. And that is how I invented the affirmations method. And that's why I'm known as the father of affirmations.
Damn, that was so, that was an amazing story, man. Okay, so like all I got to do is, switch this process of asking a question and then thinking a thought and then having my mind, going on the process of finding the answer to the question that I just asked, right? And then getting the answer and having that answer being my belief. So I just got to change that and make sure that the answer that I get come from an empowering question. Awesome.
That's basically it. Yeah, there's a little more to it, but that's pretty much it. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start implementing, man. I'm gonna start implementing as
Beautiful.
As soon as we get out of this call. I'm gonna figure out what are the questions that I need to be asking to, what are the beliefs that I need to have to get to where I want to go, and what are the questions that I need to have in order to, I don't know, like get those.
Well, that's exactly what I give you in the book, by the way. I mean,
awesome.
I teach you all of this.
Well, instead, I'm gonna go and get the book.
So get the book. And by the way, we also have the companion journal that goes with it, the Millionaire Affirmations Journal. So this is how you make it a daily habit. All right. Okay. So it's one thing to do it one time and say, oh, that's wonderful. But we really give you this tool too, or we encourage you to get this tool. And I was actually just talking with one of my clients, and she said that she has 4 children, ages 10 to 17. She's already teaching her kids how to use my affirmations method, and they are just loving it. So the point of that example is, I mean, I've helped 7, 8-figure CEOs. I've coached people who are making, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, but it also works for anybody. It works for kids. It works for teenagers. It works for working moms, chiropractors, health professionals, network marketers, real estate professionals. There's no one this doesn't work for. And why is that true? Because last time I checked, most people have this thing called the human brain, and yet we were never taught how to use it. Remember that class you took in high school or college on how to use your brain? Of course you don't, because you didn't, because there weren't any. And so that's the point, is this is actually why so many people say about my work that my work starts where Think and Grow Rich and The Secret left off.
Nice. Yeah. And you mentioned right now that you work with 7, 8-figure CEOs, entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. And at a higher level, like what holds most entrepreneurs back at a high level, what keeps them stuck is not like strategy, right? Or tactics. It's like themselves, like their head, like their mind, what do you call that?
Well, I call that your head trash. That's another one of my books. Okay. Called Take Out Your Head Trash About Money. But it's funny that you bring that up, because I'll give you an example. I was talking with one of my clients, and we were talking about this very subject, right? About why he felt like he was doing well, but he knew he could do so much better. And he didn't understand why he'd been holding himself back. And he spent all this money on all those other gurus, and just nothing was working. I mean, he wasn't getting to the level that he wanted, that he's capable of.
Yeah.
And so I asked him a very simple question. I said, how much do you think your head trash is costing you right now? Without batting an eyelash, He said $1 million a year. And so I said to him, okay, well, I tell you what, you give me 10% of that, and I will help you find that $1 million in you and in your business over the next 12 months. So the point is, I said to him, if you give me $1 and I give you $10 back, is that a good deal? He goes, yeah. So he did that. So he paid me $100,000 to coach him. And in less than 12 weeks, we've been working together now just over 12 weeks. Well, actually 2 weeks ago, he told me that he's already made that 100K investment back in less than 12 weeks because of this work that we're doing together. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't know if this really applies to me. Well, let me ask you a question. How much do you think your head trash is costing you? And by the way, what is head trash? All right. So what does that actually mean? Head trash is the voice in your head that says, I can't do it because ... I can't do it because, and then you just fill in the blank. So going back to something I said earlier, we are talking about your goals. That's what we're talking about. That's what I help people with. That's what I've been doing for 25 years, is help people reach their goals faster, easier, with less stress and less effort, right? Literally making more in 12 weeks than they made in the last 12 months. So shrinking time. So not only are you making more, are you going to be making more money, you're going to be saving probably years of your life, certainly months and months, but more than likely, maybe 3, 5, or even 10 years. In fact, at my events, my 7-figure mind intensive events that I was just talking about, I literally ask my attendees a question. I say, how long do you think it would have taken you to figure this out on your own? And most people, they tell me, I never would have figured this out on my own. They literally say it would have taken me a lifetime. So what's your life worth, right? Yeah. So the point of that is that if you're thinking, well, this doesn't really apply to me, think about, what is your head trash? What are the things that you're telling yourself, I can't do it because? And then how much do you think that's costing you right now in terms of money? But not just money, in terms of time, in terms of effort, in terms of stress, in terms of going around on, running on a treadmill and not getting anywhere. So if you're thinking that, well, I'll just work harder and that'll get me there, maybe, but probably not. Because what most people are actually doing is, there's one of the things the gurus say is they say, well, take massive action. That's a big popular thing. Take massive action. And I go, well, that's funny. Why don't you just get in your car, drive around the block at 120 miles an hour, and then, go around in circles and come home? You just took massive action and you got nowhere. So no, massive action is nothing if you don't have the right plan, the right tools, and the right support. Those are the 3 pillars of transformation that you really need. That's why we give, we give you the right plan. That's what to do, the right tools. That means how to do it. And then the most important element of transformation is having the right support. Because think about it this way. If information was enough, everyone would be rich, happy, and thin. Everybody, because you just go on YouTube and you can find all the information you want, how to lose weight, how to make money, how to be skinny, how to have 6-pack abs, how to have happy relationships. It's all on YouTube for free. So why isn't everybody rich, happy, and thin? Because information alone does not create transformation. We have to have those 3 elements that you just can't get, for free on YouTube. That's why, people pay me a lot of money, because they get the incredible results. Like, again, that making more in 12 weeks than they made in the last 12 months, and that 100K, getting that back in less than 12 weeks. And he's made already a lot more than that investment, than that initial investment. And he's absolutely going to crush that $1 million as a result of our work.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, when you mentioned head trash, I was like, well, I don't have any head trash. Like, I'm not like walking around telling bad, telling negative or things that hold myself back, that hold me back. But, that's another problem. Most people are not even aware of this, right?
Correct. That's exactly right. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, wow, this looks like a great day. You know what? I think I'll hold myself back from success today. Right? Because that would be a conscious thought. So what I deal with, and the reason that my methods are so effective and that we help people make over $2.7 billion over the last 25 years, I mean, literally adding 6 and 7 and even 8 figures to their business in a very, very short amount of time, is because we're taking what's in the subconscious and bringing it to the conscious level. So think about an iceberg. An iceberg is just like the human brain, right? So an iceberg is 5% visible above the surface. That's the conscious level of the brain. The vast 95% is hidden below the surface. That's the subconscious. And as I say to my audiences and my coaching clients, it wasn't the part of the iceberg that they could see that sunk the Titanic. It's the part they didn't see that sunk the Titanic. And that's also the part of us that's sinking most of us.
Okay. And then how do you tap into that 95%, that iceberg? By asking questions?
Correct. Using my affirmations method is one of the most effective ways to do that very quickly. Because when you start asking the right questions using my affirmations method, it will also, one of the nice side benefits is you'll start to see what the wrong questions are.
Yeah.
And when I say wrong questions, I mean they disempower you. They disempower you. They actually take away your power to act. I'll give you another example. I was speaking at an event in Los Angeles a few years ago for a group of entrepreneurs. These are 6, 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs, high level people, about 1,000 entrepreneurs. And I was walking off the stage after my presentation, and a man came up to me out of the audience and he said, "Noah, I want you to be my coach. You are the coach I've been looking for." Now, I didn't know this man from Adam. Ironically, his name was Adam. And so I said, "Okay, what's going on?" He said, "Noah, I'm totally stuck. I'm only making $4 million a year." Now, of course, I had to laugh. I mean, who wouldn't want to be making $4 million a year? That doesn't sound like a big problem, does it?
Yeah.
He said, "Noah, I own a software company. We grew to $4 million in revenues really fast, but we've been stuck at the same level for the past 4 years. 4 years stuck at the same level, no growth, just flatline." And he said, "I've hired all the gurus. I paid all this money to all these marketing guys, and we're still stuck." And he said, "As soon as I heard you speak, as soon as I just felt your heart and I could tell where you're coming from and your level of integrity and truthfulness and honesty. And when you're talking about head trash and affirmations and everything that you just said," he said, "I knew you were the coach I've been looking for." He hired me on the spot, because leaders in all walks of life make decisions quickly and firmly, right? That's what people who are leaders do. They make decisions quickly and firmly. They don't, wait around, and they don't procrastinate. And so anyway, he hired me on the spot. I worked with him for the next 18 months. And in that 18 months, his company grew from being stuck at 4 million for the previous 4 years to over $20 million in sales, a 6 times increase in less than 2 years. And so the point of the story is this: he did not realize why he was holding himself back. He didn't know. It was totally in the subconscious. And he threw all of this money at it from all the gurus, and it didn't do anything. He was just stuck exactly there because no one had taken the time to show him what was actually in his subconscious. However, once we were able to bring that out to the conscious level, his company grew 6 times in less than a year and a half.
Yeah, that's amazing and crazy. And so, like breakthrough, like there's a huge breakthrough, right? So, okay. So you help people make more in 12 weeks than they did the previous 12 months. And, one of those ways that you help them with is affirmations, getting, clearing and getting rid of their head trash. What else? Is there anything else that you added to that toolbox that you have?
Oh yeah, there's a lot more to it. And the big picture is that what we do is we work with the inner game and the outer game. All right. So inner game, and I talk about that in my books and in my programs. So again, when you go to our website, when you go to noahstjohn.com, you can see all my different books and the online programs and the coaching that we have. And by the way, I wanted to mention this. I also have a free gift for all of your listeners. In fact, it's very easy to remember. It's freegiftfromnoah.com. Very easy to remember. Freegiftfromnoah.com.
Thanks.
And I actually show you, it's a video training that I did on how I help my clients make more in 12 weeks than they made in the last 12 months. So it's very easy to remember. Go to freegiftfromnoah.com. And that is a free gift for everyone watching and listening to this program. Freegiftfromnoah.com. So when, in that presentation, you'll see one of the things I talk about is inner game and outer game. Okay. So inner game is everything that happens between your ears that you can't see directly, and yet it affects everything that you do. So think about this, in my coaching and in my keynote speeches, in my private workshops, or when I'm speaking to large groups, one of the things that I'll say to my audience members is, what is one area of your life where your beliefs don't affect you? And people go like this. They go, And I go, exactly. There's no place your beliefs don't affect you, right? Your beliefs affect every single part of your life. I mean, your beliefs affect your health, right? I mean, certainly your health, your sense of well-being, your stress level, whether it's high or low,
Yeah.
your sense of overwhelm. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you have trouble focusing, that's another big thing we help people with is they say, no, I have too much to do in too little time. And so the beliefs affect that. Your beliefs affect your money, your income, your revenues, your profits, right? So maybe for example, there's some people who are making a lot of money, but they're going out and spending it all. And then they're in debt, even though they're making good money, they're actually in debt and they're upside down, in their home or their finances or what have you, right? So your beliefs affect your money, your wealth, big time. Your beliefs affect your relationships, don't they? Right. So your beliefs affect your intimate life, with your spouse, your partner, your significant other, your kids, your family, your social life. So there is literally no place in your life where your beliefs don't affect you. But here's the interesting point. You can't see a belief, right? You can't see a belief. You can only see the effects of a belief. Right. And so it's also interesting is that you can be doing really well in one area of your life, but maybe you're stuck or struggling in another area. For example, maybe you're doing well in your health. Maybe your health is really good, but maybe you're not making the money you want to. Conversely, maybe your career is going great, business is going great, but maybe your health is suffering or your relationships are suffering because you're spending all your time at the office. You're working all the time and you don't see your family and things like that. So see, it's not cookie cutter, one size fits all. Everything that we do is very customized for each individual person, right? Because that's what we have to look at is all the different areas of your life. So that's your inner game. And then we also have to look at your outer game. So your outer game is everything that you can see, right? It's right in front of your face. Those are things like your habits, the systems, the strategies that you have. If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, all of the outer game stuff that you have to do that. But what's fascinating about that is of that $2.7 billion that I've helped my clients make over the last 25 years, 85% of that has come from inner game, not the outer game. And that's, Adam that I just talked about, that client I just told you about, he's a perfect example of that.
He was already making 4 million, right?
Well, but he was stuck.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
He was stuck at that. He reached that level quickly, pretty much on his own, but he couldn't go past that. It was a ceiling that he kept hitting. And so he tried all the outer game stuff from all those marketing guys, right? Well, it must be something with my marketing. Notice what marketing is. It's outer game, right? And so I'm not saying don't do marketing. I'm not saying, not that there's anything wrong with it. Is it bad? No, you have to do it. If you're in business, you have to do marketing. You have to do it. But what's fascinating is he'd spent all that time, money, and effort on all that outer game stuff with all those other guys, didn't get him anywhere. I mean, it didn't help him at all. And then as soon as we worked together, because we spent 90% of our time on inner game, and that's when he had that hockey stick growth.
Nice.
And that's the case with basically all my clients.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, Noah. I'm definitely going to go ahead and get your books and your free gifts that you just offered. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Anyone out there who might be, who may feel stuck or who may think that you have head trash or who may not even know that you had head trash, right? I would suggest for you to go and, take those free gifts as well. And Noah, I have 5 questions for you before, finishing up this interview.
Sure.
And the first one is, if you could give your 20-year-old self some advice, what would that be?
Don't listen to the gurus.
Got it. Cool. Don't listen to well, all right. And follow-up question. So who should I listen to? Right? Let's say that your 20-year-old asked you.
Well, that's the point is I wish I would have trusted myself more and listened to my inner knowing. So many times I was persuaded to go in the wrong direction by very persuasive salespeople.
Yeah.
They're just very, very persuasive and very good with, the mouth. And I bought it, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I would tell me, my younger self, listen to your inner knowing. Like, I mean, as an example, like when Adam, that client I told you about, he came up to me, he just knew that I was the right coach, the right mentor for him. So, there were many times that I knew something, but I went against my inner knowing because I listened to those persuasive guys, and that really cost me.
Yeah. Okay. So then don't listen to the gurus. Listen to yourself, that inner voice that, is trying to guide you. Listen to that. Cool. I like that. Mindset. What is a mindset shift that you've had, Noah, in the last couple of months or years or so that you think is contributing to your success?
Well, I mean, of course, affirmations are a big part of that. I work with them every single day. And, in the book, in the getmillionairebook.com, I do tell you how you can literally change your financial life in less than 5 minutes a day. So I use them every single day. And that's one of the reasons that I've been able to go, when I discovered affirmations 25 years ago, I was a broke college student living in a 300 square foot basement apartment with $800 to my name. Now I live in a 6,000 square foot mansion on a hill, and I was able to pay off the mortgage to this house 28 years early. So pretty big mind shift there that has had some pretty amazing results.
Nice. Good. Awesome. Mindset map. Do you have any advice for people who may lack or need clarity, right? Like we talked about achieving your goals, right? Like that's what we want, but most people don't even know what that is. So do you have any feedback for them? Any advice?
It is crucial that you know what you want in life, as simple as that sounds, and everybody says it. It is actually very crucial, and the reason for that is because if you don't know where you want to go, if you're not super clear on your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, it's going to be very easy for you to be blown off course, right? And for you to just be what most people call shiny object syndrome, and they're chasing this and this and this and this and this, and there's a million things that we could do every day that grab at our attention. So it's really important that you are very, very clear on what it is that you want and why you want it, and your pot of gold and what it is and why you want it. And that will help you to remain focused, putting that focus hat on so that you just stay focused and that you can eliminate all those distractions, because we live in a world of infinite distractions. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons it's so important to stay focused on your goal.
Awesome. So get clear on what your pot of gold looks like. Get clear on what you want and why you want it. Right. Mindset map, motion. What is one habit that you have, Noah, that is not doing affirmations every single day that you think is contributing to your success?
Well, I mean, something very simple like exercising and eating right. Those are two habits.
Yeah.
But if the physical body is not, say, strong, or if you're weak in the physical body, it's tough. It makes it harder on you as a person, as an individual, to reach your goals. Vince Lombardi, the legendary coach, said, "Fatigue makes cowards of us all." Fatigue makes cowards of us all. Fatigue meaning, you're tired. And so if you're tired, what that means is, and meaning if you're not in good physical and emotional and spiritual shape, then fatigue makes cowards of us all. What's a coward? Someone who succumbs to fear. So it's not that you don't feel the fear. Every day there's fear that will come up. But the point about having courage is you acknowledge the fear and then you take action anyway.
And that's why willpower doesn't work, because it gets fatigued, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Awesome. And now, of course, another habit is doing affirmations every single day. And for that, go get the book, which I will. Like as soon as I click end the recording, I will, man. Mindset map, motion, measure. What do you think about measuring and tracking, Noah?
Oh, that's a perfect point, because, make sure you get the journal too. This is all about measurement. The journal is all about measurement. You'll notice this is a whole year of helping you to install this power habit of using millionaire affirmations. So you get the book and you get the companion journal. You absolutely want to get that. So this is exactly why I created this journal, so that you can measure. And that's why measurement is absolutely crucial. That's why you want to get the book and the journal as well. So you can not just do the habit, but you're measuring your progress. And that makes it so much more powerful and effective.
So there you go. What does everyone want? Money, right? So to get it, you need your mindset right. You need your affirmations. You need your map right. Your pot of gold. You need your motion right. Do affirmations in journal and measure, right? Track them. And if you get those 4 right, mindset, map, motion, measure, you'll get the money. And I had a lot of fun, Noah. I'm excited for the next couple of weeks, to get those 2 books in my hand. To get my hands on those 2 books and go through them. I'm excited for that. So thank you very much for being here. And then you gave us if people want to know more about you, they want to get in touch. Maybe they want to get a more intimate like connection with you. Where should they go?
So remember, go to freegiftsfromnoah.com. Very easy to remember. That's my free video training on how I help my clients make more in 12 weeks than they made in the last 12 months. And then also, if you want to come to my virtual event, go to 7figuremindintensive.com. It's easy to remember, 7figuremindintensive.com. That's for the 3-day virtual event where I teach you how to make more in 12 weeks than made in the last 12 months. And my main website is just simply my name, noahstjohn.com. You can see my books, my programs, my coaching, my one-on-one or group coaching events, programs that we have, also my speaking events and so on. But yeah, all of that is at noahstjohn.com.
Got it. Thank you very much, Noah. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll see you later.
All right. Sounds good. My pleasure.
Bye-bye. Thank you for watching the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms